Go Dark Urge. I think we're gonna go Time for Bloody Murder. I mean, it's Monday. What better time? What better time? All right. Let's throw some stuff out here. Now, obviously, we have to have the Dark Urge in on this one. But we can only use champions that have the DPS role. This may be a problem. Look, we don't... Oh my god. Folks. Oh my god. Okay. This is gonna be... This is gonna be a thing happening. This is a thing that's gonna happen, I guess. I don't know how it's gonna happen. But apparently it's gonna happen. We have a tank. We have Archon. Archon's gonna tank, and then we're gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 other people. A couple of those people do not support in any way, shape, or form. So 125 is gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. We gotta get there first. We gotta get some people in the formation. I don't know how long it's gonna... I mean, we'll have a tank out before we need a tank, right? Right? I don't know. Hello, Delkun, Chaos, Lalokin, Lavernica, Spicy Kira, Thalo, Texag, Kelgate, and Shevik. Hello, hello, hello. So this is definitely super restrictive for new players. So we're going to hope that the favor we have here, 2.01 EO9 favor, hopefully that's enough to get us through this. I'm really trying to get Jarlaxle up to the point where he provides more gold find, because we're going to need it. Boy, do I wish Hitch still had his DPS tag right about now. Hitch was the first time. They massacred my boy. Hitch was the first time. Narak is the most recent one. Should have saw it coming. Should have saw it coming, I guess. They did it before. Why wouldn't they do it again? Alright. Be able to do the tier 3? On my main account, I did all of tier 3 on my main. For Dark Urge and Darius. I haven't unlocked any of the flex champions on my main account. I'm spending all my time over here, so... tier 4 is rough. I'm having trouble with a few of the tier 4 adventures where I'm way past them. Oh yeah, like everybody says, you just buy your way past it. Yeah, no, that's not really a thing. Last I checked, you couldn't buy scales. Tiamat scales. For legendaries, but you know. But you know. So, Jarlaxle's in his gold generation sweet spot. I mean, I don't know who's gonna be the best DPS here. Oh, you know what? We have to go Potpourri, because Ashara needs to be able to rip through the Frost Giant. What's our int look like across the board? So Jarlaxle will get buffed by Darius. Ashara will get buffed by Darius. Minsk will not. Delta will be. Makos will be. Dark Urge will not. Neither will Archon. Okay. Unless we change the Darius' spec, I guess. You just say tier 4 is rough? Yeah, it's a challenge. I mean, you know, we've never really like, you know, usually when you're doing when you're pushing an event, you're just pushing in a free play, so you're never pushing in a variant. So that changes everything, right? So, you know, these tier 4 variants are a big deal. They're a big deal. Which I'm here for, but I feel like some of them, they just need maybe just a little external, like maybe just something else like that. The lights, the torch one for Darius. Wow. You know, losing 4 slots and in that specific way that they've lost them is that's challenging. Yeah, I don't know. So some of them are rough. Yeah, absolutely. I got through all the Dark Urge ones just fine. But Darius's last 2 variants in tier 4 are a challenge. Nice, Calgaden. To Forge run so I can improve some Legos. Yeah, really missing season buffs. Huh? Yeah, I mean, that's, you know, if you do some stuff, you do get some buffs, but not quite the same as used to. You could get more gold chests on the regular 50 and that's not how you're getting chests though, Crafty. That's not. These are you getting a chest for going to these high levels? Yes. You're getting a guaranteed gold chest, sure. But you're doing it more for the permanent reward that's at the end, right? Or that should be kind of what you're working towards. If you just want gear, just go spend your tokens on those. That's, you can still do that. That's still there. This is an in addition. This isn't limiting anything. So just to be clear. Aggie Jess, thank you for 4 months. Much appreciated. Hey, Moses. Yeah, Idiot Control someday. It's my understanding that they will lock it so that there's always at least 1 spot available, but yeah, I mean, anything where you continually lose slots is, you know, they have to go in and change those. The escort, yeah. So the escort one, the one with the torches. I was within about 30 areas, and then my bud broke, and the fire breath just carried me across the line. I was trying to work that problem. I wasn't sure if it was going to happen or not. I was like 200 areas away at first, and I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't use the Dark Urge here. And I switched to Caddy Bree, and she just destroyed everything. Got me within 30 areas, but I thought I was going to have to come back to it later. Like, focus on that group and get them some legendary stuff. Like, yeah, I thought I was going to have to work at it for a little longer, and then butt broke. Can't stop that from happening. Really. Yeah, so they have stated, I mean, you can ask about it on Dev Insights again, but they have stated that if there's, you know, they're going to look at how these things are, you know, what the restrictions are every time these new champions for each event. They're going to look at their thing, and if they need to go in and make some changes, they'll make some changes. This is the first one, and I feel like maybe they need a little help on maybe just a little help on the torch one. So maybe like a scaling, like a buff for the further you go, the more just all champs damage you get, and it might be a nice thing. Kind of like with Rosie and Strix, they've got a scaling buff for theirs, right? Yeah. Oh, I didn't use Kron. I didn't try Kron to buy you Shakira. Definitely had Desmond and Spurt, but I ended up with like Caddy Bree, Blushi. Blushi is just not, unfortunately, Blushi is just not a late game tank. She can't hack it. She just can't stay alive. Even when I choose the left-hand spec where she's taking less damage, she just cannot deliver the way I would hope that she would, unfortunately. Unfortunately. Okay, what are we up to now? It's 4-3 magic, but we're going to get Archon out here. He's going to make it equal. Again. We're going to go together. Magic. But yeah, I feel like tier 4 is definitely aimed towards people who are end game. It's kind of as it should be. High item levels, high average item levels on everyone in your party. You know, fully piped out cores, like supercharged cores, all of the perks and blessings, and probably a good amount of legendaries. But therein lies the problem, is those aren't necessarily champions you may have built legendaries on. But that gives you a reason to go out and do it, right? I think tiers 2 and 3 are the mid game, the different stages of the mid game. Tier 1, doable by new players. Yeah. Are you planning on using the Dark Urge to carry with this account for the next time? I'm using event champions during the event, but once we go back to the main campaign, because I try to just use core and evergreens when we're doing main campaign stuff, so that it's easy to relate to people that are watching videos. Because not everybody started right now, right? You know, in the future, I just put I made a YouTube playlist, and I uploaded 19 different episodes to the YouTube playlist yesterday, folks. I went through yesterday and split up every single adventure we've done, adventure, variant, and free play, into their own little video, labeled them, and put them in the playlist. So now when people get stuck places, they can go reference like something and maybe hear tips about what they're doing, and you know. So when we go back, like, obviously we're doing the event. Well, in this event, guess who's available? Dark Urge and Dadius. I mean, this will just be, you know, this is how we use them during this event. But as we go back to the main campaign, I'm going to go back to Core and Evergreen, and we'll play around with event champions, because you have to understand, like, what am I looking for when I'm swapping in event champions, right? That kind of stuff. But I'm not going to rely on them. Or I'm going to try not to. I'm going to use new player stuff as long as I can. Eventually, we'll have to be relying on event champions, because that's the way the game works. Yeah, seeing people discuss tactics is fun. It's the tactics that most people just don't even think about anymore, but new players always had to think about. How do I get through this? And, you know, other people are just like, man, just get a bunch of favor. Just steamroll it with your blah, blah, blah. It's not that hard. Like, now they're realizing, oh, shit. Maybe these are difficult. Yeah. Hey, Ricardoso. Oh, I don't have a YouTube, do I? Let me fix that. Hold on. I don't have a YouTube. I didn't do stuff like that. I didn't put lots of stuff on my YouTube before, so I don't think I have a command for the YouTube. Let me look at my custom commands list. Did I put it anywhere? Is it under something else? Oh, okay. Okay. Been a while since I've... Been a while. How do I make it? Ah, create. Here we go. Be fine. Okay, try it now. It's fun. It just takes it just sucks that it takes so long to knock on the door and find out you're not going to. I mean, yeah, welcome to in-game patron variants too, right? I mean, that's yeah. Nice, Laurent. Yeah, Modron automation just kind of changes the game. Can't for the life of me make Bud's buggy trigger. Really? Because I can't for the life of me not make it trigger in some way, shape, or form. Good. Looks like the command works. It should be on a timer, so it can't be used too often. Too often. You don't want to spam everybody. So Dell and a DPS currently at the moment, folks. That's right. That's right. Yeah, so you were getting progress anyway. Get those darker to murder stacks. I don't have a lot of murder stacks on mine on either account. Yeah, Delana gets... People talk a lot of trash about Delana, but, you know. She shows up. She shows up. When you need her, she shows up. And her ultimate just makes it even better. She's got good wave clear, too. 2 out of her 3 attacks are solid wave clear. What's wild is we went potpourri, and Delana is still taking... Delana is still setting Bud. Delana is a high elf. She does not fall into this potpourri bond. She's still setting Bud. Still stealing it. She didn't really get a rework. She had a rework a long, long time ago. She hasn't had a modern rework at all. She got a little tweak a long time ago. It's just that she was always, you know, fairly functional. Will we get to see that fleeting moment when you run Jam Jam DPS? I don't know that that's a thing anymore. I don't know that that fleeting moment... It was a fleeting moment in year one. I don't think it exists anymore. We got a good number of people that are in the same ballpark, though. 22, 24, 22, 20, 19. These are a little low, but yeah, we need that. We need that. We need everybody pretty close, so when we hit the Frost Giant, everybody chunks in, because we ain't got a tank. We're going to hit 50. No tanks. No tanks. I don't want any. No tanks. This is going to be rough. It really comes down to, do I time this right? Here we go. Oh, God. Go, go, go. No. It wouldn't. He's got to get up off the ground. There we go. Have a Delina burn a boss to death. We got it. We got it, folks. I can't believe that's still... That was a questionable achievement. Really? That's what you want to focus people's attention on? She just burned someone alive? Sure. Sure. Okay. They do still need to make her dot bud based, though, in my opinion. Delina gearing up for Hot Elf Summer. Yeah. Look, she's in full blues with a shiny, with only one green, and it's Spell Bombardment, which we don't care about. She's got her Surge of Power shining. Somehow she pulled a natural shiny. So, yeah. That's a great color combination. The blue border with the shiny, and then she's got that blue orb. That actually was really good. Looks really good. All right. We're going to go... I need this. Everybody needs to be more available. There we go. Dark Urge just came online. Dark Urge just came online. E24 damage. Up there with Delina. At least under his feet, which means nothing, but but at least it looks close. It truly does mean nothing. One of these days they'll get like all of this and all of this sorted out and it'll actually make sense. Alright, now Delvin has a 50% chance to twin her spells. Not Gaming Monday, which is Tuesday. Tuesday is Gaming Monday? Is it? No, not here. Not in the Idle Champs universe. The Idle Champaverse. Oh, you know what I haven't done today? Hold on. We need to do this. We do this. Control click on the first one, so all of them go real fast. Let's get ourselves some gear, folks. Because this is a big day. I always look forward to loading in all the Electrums from... There weren't a lot over the weekend, but any chance we can get some more Electrums, man. Yes, please. Yeah, this is the last one. One more, and then we get to mine, which we already did. It was Saturday. I'm just going to verify that I did actually use my own code. I did, okay. How am I doing this so fast? Again, hold down Control on your keyboard, then click on the Cryptex. And it opens and closes super fast. You only have to do it once until you shut your game down and start it again. It just needs to be the default functionality, but... Okay, so gold chests, gold chests, gold chests, silver chests. Thanks. Alright, Electrum chests. Wait. Who have we already been? Dadius. We can open a Dadius gold chest. He's already in green or better. Nice. Okay. Briv and the Dark Urge are still... Briv's still got whites. The Dark Urge still has a single white. So we're really hoping the Dark Urge gets his final green. You know, I'm opening one at a time. Garbage. Got it. Nice. Oh, got another one for Briv. Nice. Give me one more for Briv. No, that wasn't it. Okay, so the Dark Urge is now in full green, so I can now open up chests related to the Dark Urge. Dupe blue? Wow, that's a rough system. But we did get blue living on the edge. Show me the money. Ultimate attack cooldown. Come on. You can do better than that. Ceramorphosis. Nice. Now give me... Oh, maybe the Urge? Oh, Embrace or Resist. That works. Okay. Cool. Dark Urge. All blue except for one. This is how we do around here, folks. Efficient chest opening to get you to blue as quickly as possible. Electrums first, and then any named silvers, just trying to get you, and more Electrums, just trying to get you up to full green or better. And then once you're green or better, then open the blues. Don't open them before that. Don't open them before that. The Cryptex, yeah, that's the name of that. That's what this is. This is a Cryptex. A Cryptex is a device that has like dials with letters, numbers, or symbols on them, and putting them in a certain way allows you to open it, and there's something inside. That's the Cryptex. The Urge be better than Strix? I mean, I don't know. The Urge is probably more limited than the Strix in terms of who they would work well with. The Dark Urge, excuse me. Gotta put some respect on their name, or I'll wake up with them standing over me. When do we buy gold chests over silver chests? Once all of your core and evergreen champions are green or better gear. So that's like Bruenor, Celeste, Nayeli, Hitch. Like once whatever of those you've unlocked, Dritz, if you've got Dritz, once they're, my Dritz is in greens and blues. Once they're above, like they're at that green mark, then you stop buying regular silver chests with gems, and you start buying gold chests. Like for instance, I've got enough to go buy a gold chest. So I'm gonna. Purple, and it's for Archon's gold find. Oh my god. Archon, you jerk. How dare you? I don't even use you. We haven't even gotten you in here yet. We don't even have enough gold to get you in yet. Wow. So yeah. Am I cutting and pasting so fast? I mean, I clicked over here and I copied, and then I clicked over here and I just hit paste. Control C, Control V. Yeah. Control C off the page over there. Control V once I'm in the Cryptex. Yeah, I don't have to alt tab. I've got a window over here. I can just click on that window. I mean, by the time the like while the chest was opening, I was copying pasting another one, and by the time I came back here, I could just paste it straight in. Back in some of our days, a mouse was an optional extra. Look, the second it became a thing that was on all computers, I became good at using it. It was so much nicer than tabbing through things. And I use like all the buttons too. I mean, mine doesn't have a crazy amount of buttons, a wild amount of buttons, an outrageous amount of buttons. But I have like the 2 buttons on the side, so like up or down, like forward and back on pages. I've got the scroll wheel, and then it's got a left and a right button. You gotta use them all. Hashtag use them all. I even when I was playing like Star Wars Galaxies back in the day, I used a rollerball, like the like the kind where you could pull the ball. The big ball was on the top, and you spun the ball around. That was. I had the big square one with with buttons on each corner and like a trackball. Yeah, that's it. The trackball. I used a big one. You could pull the trackball out, and you could put like a pool ball in. Some people did that. I didn't, but. Not like the thumb trackball, but the big ass ball. Like you could just spin it in a direction, spin it, spin it. Yeah. I love that thing. I used that so much. I went through a couple of those before I finally went back. Before like gaming mice really became a thing, and then I got a gaming mouse. Now I've got the little laser. Now mice with lasers on the bottom is the best way to do it. I was like Star Wars Galaxies, just like when Jedi was found or pre-Jedi. I started playing before there were any Jedi, but it was always a thing that could happen. And I was playing when someone finally unlocked the first one, and everybody became, everybody started grinding to try to unlock Jedi and hunting for holocrons and stuff. And I was like, yeah, that's not my thing, but you go. I became a bodyguard for Jedi that were grinding. Like, I'd be grouped with them, but I'd be a ways away, like on the same planet from whatever they were doing. And then if a bounty hunter came after them, I would pull. They'd just give me a heads up in our group chat. Then I'd pull my speeder bike, head over, and beat the crap out of the bounty hunter, and then go off again, and they'd go back to grinding. Yeah. That was fun. And then when the village came online, then I was like, I liked the village concept. Like, you can go once you unlock the ability in yourself, you could go to this village and learn to become a Jedi. Like, I liked that. I enjoyed that. I also liked that it was a challenge. Like, I took it as a personal challenge. They had like a quest line to do, and a lot of people and there was like a really tough fight that you had to engage in, and a lot of people would just bring a group of friends and then let the friends destroy the enemy. But like, to me, I was like, oh no, I'm soloing this. If I don't solo this, I don't deserve to be a Jedi. And it was a really good fight in your solo. It was fun. So yeah, I enjoyed all of the eras until it was like, oh, you can just buy the game and be a Jedi the moment you start. And I was like, that wasn't what the game was supposed to be. And for the record, it has been made public for years and years and years that all of the pressure to have more and more Jedi, the blame got put on SOE, like Sony Online Entertainment originally, but as it turns out, that was all LucasArts. They were like, everybody wants to be Jedi. We need more Jedi. Why haven't Jedi unlocked? You need to make Jedi unlock faster. They were behind all of the changes. Sony was. Or not Sony, excuse me. LucasArts was. Sony was like, all right, like, it's your IP. We have to kind of do what you want. They don't really get a choice. You didn't make a dance or a musician? I don't know. I had those at some point, um, probably, I tried out everything at some point, actually, enjoying them, uh, but like my first character was Master Creature Handler, Master Doctor, and then I did a variety of transitions in between different things until I ended up um, a combination of like, I can't remember, was I full Doctor? I had a Power Hammer build, so it was a dodge based, an evasion build because I was a Wookiee and couldn't wear armor. I had an evasion based build with a Power Hammer and my own healing that ended up being where I settled in and enjoyed until I became a Jedi. But we made alts on a different server, and it was all Wookiees, all musicians, and like master entertainers, master dancers, master musicians, like yeah. And we're all like, all of our names were off like past were the names of past like performers. Like my character I believe was James Brown, and I had like macros for the songs and stuff. It was hilarious. We had a good time. Item level, does Briv need to skip 4 if you have the item on? If it's a legendary? Legendary doesn't mean anything. So you mean epic. So is it a golden epic or not? Is it a shiny epic, a golden epic? Like, all I know is golden epic is 3626. For golden epic Theodynarax is 3626. Legendary doesn't mean anything. That tells me you're at an epic, but that has no effect on it whatsoever. I don't know what it is for a normal epic. A lot more than 3626. I don't. There are other people out there that'll have that information, but I don't know what it is. Hey, Dan Sliver. But you should at least try to shiny it if you're going to go for that high of an item level. Played a Wookiee Jedi, yeah. Yeah. Herodian Pistolier Bounty Hunter, nice. Like, some of the best combat, like PvP I ever had in that game was as a Jedi, defending off against bounty hunters. It was good, like so good, because it's a small scale PvP scenario. It's you versus 1 or 2 other people usually. Like, we didn't have people rolling in huge groups. It was usually just 1 or 2 people, and finding a way to survive and win that fight and fight them. That was the thing. That was why I didn't really like Jedi when they first came out, because the general thing was if somebody came after you, you just ran. You force ran until you broke aggro and could use a transport to get off planet and lose them. Hated it. So from the moment I became a Jedi, I stood my ground and fought bounty hunters. And in all that time, I only died once. And it was because I thought I was in a house that was closed off to all bounty hunters. Turns out it wasn't. And I looked over to find myself out of the house and in the middle of a fight against 2 bounty hunters. And by that time, it wasn't completely too late. Still fought, still did pretty well, but yeah, they finally killed me. I'm like, that's on me. I gotta check my ban lists better. It wasn't my house, but it was a friend's house, and he usually had everybody on the ban list, and that was all the known bounty hunters were on the ban list, but someone got through. Yeah, I remember being out in front of the spaceport in Mos Eisley, or not, it wasn't Mos Eisley, it was on Corellia. Whatever the main hub was, which escapes me at the moment. And I did a radio show back then, like a internet radio show called Galaxy. It was on a channel called Galaxy's Radio. I did Gar Wars Grooves on like Sundays, and I always just posted up outside of that spaceport with some people who were entertainers, and just dance. I literally, as a Jedi, had novice entertainer. I wasn't even full Jedi. I didn't go full into combat. I had novice entertainer, and I would post up, and we would just dance. Like if somebody else would, control all the choreography, I'd just be in and whatever while I was doing the radio show. And bounty hunters would come after me right there, and like I always knew when a fight was about to break out because, whenever a ship would land, I'd watch the dots on the screen, and inevitably it would be one come running out. They run out super fast, and then they just halt right in front of me and just be like, and you could tell what the thought process was like. Wait, do I have the right target? Because this says Jedi, but that's a dancer. What's going on? And I'd be like, hold on, folks, I gotta fight somebody. And then, they'd fire a weapon, and then I'd pull out my lightsaber and beat their ass right in front of everybody, and then I'd just go back to dancing right on their body. It's the most insulting thing ever, but it's like, look, you came at me while I was chilling. What do you want? What do you want? This is my day off. Good times. Good times. All right, we finally got to put Archon. We finally get our tank in the front of the formation, folks. Oh boy. Oh boy. Yeah, I mean, it was one of the best games out there, and then Sony pushed them to make changes that the community did not want. So then it was right around, WoW had come out, so everybody just left and went to WoW. The rumor was if you died as a Jedi, you lost the Jedi. Originally Jedi had permadeath. So in the original system, death was permanent. This is why, the bounty hunter system was rough, and you leveled up in the middle of nowhere, because if you leveled up in front of other players or in front of NPCs, it flagged you into the bounty hunter system, and if they caught you, and this is why people ran, if they caught you, you were dead. So what happened is, if you unlock Jedi in your account, what it did originally was it unlocked another slot in your account, so you got an alt, which everybody takes for granted back then, but you couldn't put two characters on the same server on games back then. If you wanted two characters on the same server, you had to buy another box, install another, and have a new account that you also paid $15 a month for. If you wanted another character on your main account, it had to be on a different server. So if you unlocked Jedi, you got a new character on your account, and they were completely different. It was because the idea was you were in hiding. Nobody knew who you were. People didn't even tell their friends and guildmates when they unlocked Jedi. Just, I'm not going to be playing the game as much. And then they were over on their alt because they didn't want anybody coming after them. And if someone did, like when you got high level, you'd see them running around in combat, but always with a full group, like a war band or whatever, like 19 other people in a 20-person group, to make sure they stayed alive. Because if they died after getting Master Jedi, they lost it and had to start all over again. That was the way it was originally. Hey, Lediath. Then everything changed. Then death. After that, once they kind of made the change to the village kind of system, where there was a path to Jedi, and anyone could become Jedi. It was you turned your character into a Jedi, and if you died, what you lost was experience. As you were trying to level, you would lose experience, which would slow your leveling down, right? I didn't shoot first. No, they had to come at me. No, I didn't. No. I didn't start fights. I just ended them. Yeah. Final Fantasy 14 bards have different. Oh, hold on. Oh God, get away from me! Get away from me! Oh no! Stop hitting me! Stop hitting me! There we go. Man, we got through the Area 51 without a tank, but thankfully we had a tank there. They have different instruments, and there's a dude with multiple accounts who just goes around on different servers putting on concerts by himself. Yeah. I mean, look, people had alt accounts back in the day. I had a second account. Yeah. But yeah, you could put follow macros on and run your own little groups around if you wanted, if you had that kind of disposable income. When I was playing, I was working in insurance, so it was really easy for me to pay for 2 accounts. Yeah. I remember being excited because it gave me extra plots for buildings on my alt. Yeah, exactly. You could run your I mean, this is what I did at first was I used my alt account to be my merchant. That was always what it was. It was the one that did the merchant stuff, so I could have vendors and had more plots and could set up shops, and yeah, it's great. It was always a master merchant, and then whatever else. It kind of varied at times. In a meta way, that's kind of how Jedi would be after Order 66, just running around in secret. Yeah, that was the whole thing, is because this was set in those, the original trilogy kind of timeline. So, yeah, if Jedi existed, they wouldn't just be running around in public, and if they did, people would come hunting them, and that was exactly what was going on. So it always felt like, yeah, that makes sense. But then, then they changed it so that Jedi were everywhere, and that was the big thing. That everything started going downhill at that part. I mean, things went downhill. They did something called the combat upgrade, or the CU, that changed a lot of things. A lot of the ways that a lot of the classes worked. Some of them got way better. For Jedi, it opened up the village, and you stayed Jedi on your main account, like on your main character. And some people didn't like that and left, but honestly, that was a much healthier game overall, and a lot of fun to play as. But then they did the new game enhancements, which was specifically in response, it had been in the process for a while, in response to other MMOs that were doing well and had more of a theme park type of experience. And whereas SWG was pure sandbox, and so LucasArts pushed them to change things, and that was kind of the beginning of what ultimately would be a long tail. They had a long tail before they finally shut down. And then I really think the only reason they shut down was, well, it felt like at the time, the only reason it shut down was because Knights of the Old Republic was coming out. And I don't think they wanted competition against their new MMO, even if it was from themselves. Yeah, I could never get into WoW. Like the second time I tried it, when I was playing Warhammer Online, is the furthest I ever got into it. But I remember getting to it was still going through early game areas, and getting to an area where I was just doing quests and leveling, and it was much more enjoyable than the first time I had played. It was much easier to go as a solo player and get stuff done and level up. Whereas when I had first started, there were parts where it just wasn't at all. It wasn't possible at all. But then I got somewhere where some high, end game player from the other faction was just going around killing all the NPCs that you turn in missions to, and it just completely halted my ability to progress in the game. And I was like, they're just griefing you, and I was like, well, I'm done. Like, this game has been out a long time, and they haven't solved that problem. The devs don't care. The devs don't care about the players, the new players, like, at all. So I'm out. Like, this is bullshit. Because that was a problem that was fixed in War, like, at launch. You couldn't get into an enemy's camp. If you ran into an area, they fixed it in a couple different ways. Because in Warhammer Online, you had tiers of content. There were 4 tiers of content. So tier 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 was for endgame. Tier was for noobs. And they had war camps outside of the PvP areas. And if you ran into... If you were just an opposing, if you were supposed to be in that tier of content, but you were an enemy, and you ran into the boundaries of the war camp, the enemy, the NPCs would aggro you and beat the ever-living crap out of you. If you were a higher tier, if you were from a higher tier, and you entered a lower tier combat area like that, you got turned into a chicken. You got turned into a chicken. And there were order chicken and destruction chickens. So kind of like regular chickens and abyssal chickens in D&D. There was an order chicken and a chaos chicken. And as a chicken, you had like no stats and you'd get just smacked. So it didn't matter that you were in, you could take, you know, entire war bands in game. Like once you became a chicken, you were just a chicken. And it was perfect. It was perfect. But the best part about that is that we would initiate, we would get bored in tier 4 and we would organize, you know, cross groups. Say, let's go down to tier 1 and have chicken fights. And you'd get war bands of tier 4 people streaming out of these camps. And the second you hit the PvP zone, everybody just becomes a chicken. And then it's just all these chickens run around. And then there's new players going, what are all these chickens? Where did the chickens come from? And we're just like pecking on people and fighting each other, and newbies are just destroying us, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. But like, that's an easy way to tell if the developers care about your experience as a new player. They won't let people grief you. It's not fun. It's not fun for anybody except the griefer, and it can drive players out of your game. So it was a great way to fix it. And there was a lot of emergent gameplay that came out of that, like chicken fights. Imagine taking the success of Baldur's Gate 3 and trying to partner with someone for a decent D&D themed MMO. MMOs are so much harder. So much harder to make. I mean, it was a monumental effort, you can tell, to build Baldur's Gate 3. An MMO like that? Woof. Like in the early days of WoW, my roommate paid for his rent by gold farming. Some of the people that I've played games with over the years have made quite a bit of money off. Like, I think Ultima Online, I know people who made 5 figures selling. Like, I think they had a big house or whatever, and they just sold that one thing for like 5 figures. I was like, what? And they're like, yeah, there was a limited amount of space on a server. You could sell your houses for a lot of money. And so when I quit, I made a fortune. It's like, holy shit. But yeah, gold farming's always been a problem. Yeah, those are the only kind of tiers I like, is tiered combat and zones for players to move through to help separate and prevent griefing. That's the kind of tiers I like. Still a couple copies of the deluxe Warhammer Online, like the collector's edition with the little mini. Yeah, I think I've still got one. I might have more than one. I gave away, so I got given a lot of those over the years to give away to my communities, but I should still have at least one somewhere sealed. I have an art book somewhere signed. Again, I got a lot of swag from that game. I mean, you can't. But that's this. This is from Warhammer Online. Kill, drink, dig. They had a whole dwarven art thing, and another one up here that says, "Would you kill for an ale?" The only thing I don't have is the huge poster that's of dwarves versus greenskins. They didn't have any. Like, they were all gone by the time I became like that. That I first did my first visit there. I think I have a order versus chaos, like a empire versus destruction or whatever. Order versus destruction, empire versus chaos, whatever it is. I can't remember. Which, you know, I was like, Hey, Lurking Rider. Well, it could also leave it felt like you get ganked and then you're really just coming gank. That's not fun though. If your experience is getting interrupted by someone who's griefing you, that's, and it also relies on the idea that you have friends who are high enough level to then kill them in return. I was just a lonely player playing through, trying to by myself, trying to experience the game, and then it becomes horrible. I had no option, Lurking Rider. It's not my fault. But I mean, I'm full aware of how combat works. I mean, Star Wars Galaxies, again, sandbox that had PvP, like, you know. But griefing people, like, Star Wars Galaxy at least gave you the option. Like, do you want to be like, you could be a rebel or an imperial, or you could be neutral, and you could flag for PvP or not. So yeah, we are talking about everything except what we're doing right now, because it's just, this is the slow march of progress in this adventure where we're only allowed champions with a DPS tag. I mean, I like content that needs groups, and guilds can be amazing. But you know, your game, like nowadays, a lot of the MMOs, you know, have like, if there's dungeons, you can queue up to them, and you know, with randoms and, you know, pugs, and do group content, and you know, I've done that. I think it's great that there's queues for that now, whereas you used to have to hunt for groups before in older games. But I mean, that's part of the challenge for me. You don't have to have friends. I didn't know the people I was playing these games with before I started playing the games, and then they became my friends. Dishonorable kills in WoW that deduct PvP ranks if he kills. Well, maybe now. But I mean, or maybe there even was then, but that doesn't mean people care and that's going to stop them from doing it. I mean, I was playing specifically on a PvE server, and someone was ruining and preventing my progress to the point where I just stopped playing. So, yeah. But anywhere, then, you know, when any PvP, there's always going to be an imbalance. People would love Warhammer Online. People love to say, "Well, it's because it's a 2-player system and it's not like Daok, Dark Order, Dark Age of Camelot, where there's 3 and that's self-balanced." And I'm like, no, you just happen to play at a time where people kind of respected those rules, and then that goes away real quick. People just want to win. People just want to win. They're not going to respect your rules or balance. Like, they're on the side that's rolling over people, that's where everybody wants to be, for the most part. But the best fights I ever had in like RVR, Realm versus Realm, or where, you know, it was a small group of people dedicated to holding the line at a keep or a fortress from a massive enemy contingent and holding it and pushing them away, even though we were outnumbered. Like, that was a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, because once you got out into the open, like, you know, numbers get rolled by numbers, right? Right. 5 more levels, right? Right? Yes. And we'll be done. And for those who weren't here earlier, I posted 19 different episodes up on YouTube. So basically, the bulk of the content up to the point before events started that we completed on this account has now been split into its own little section, titled and everything, so people can reference adventures and variants. We now have a YouTube command in chat for that. Dark Age Camelot was a fun game for RBR. That's what people said. I went back and tried it, obviously after I started War, and I was just like, I can't play this game. Once UIs and interfaces and things and usability has, and in some cases graphics, has surpassed a certain period for me, going back to things that are just not great, I can't. I'm just like, nah, this isn't worth my time. But believe me, existing in that community, I heard all the stories. I even had some shirts, like, because again, I would go out, they give me all kinds of swag when I visit the studio. I had Dayak shirts, I had Ultima Online, but most of my stuff was Warhammer Online. Like the brown shirt I wear on stream sometimes, it's got a cherub with a, you can never see it under my beard, but there's a cherub with a death mask on. It's Warhammer Online shirt. I also have a green one that says "Wah" across it. Nice, Moses. But people still play Ultima Online? I'm sure they do, yeah. There's a lot. There are dedicated groups that play some very aged games now. And the developers still, to a certain degree, support them. As long as they make enough money off of it to keep the servers on. And to keep people paid. Especially if they're owned by small studios. And that's what happens. Sometimes the large studios don't want to do it. But then another studio steps up and goes, we'll do it. Well, we'll do it. That's what happened with Pirates of the Burning Sea. I think it's changed hands a couple times, but it still exists. What happens is when you get where you lose things is when they're owned by an IP, because you either can't afford to pay the fees for the IP, or the IP holder is like, no, we don't want that. We've got new stuff. We don't want your thing taking away from the new thing. Can't believe EverQuest still requires you to pay. Well, because that's how it's built. It was built on a pay to play model, and the only way to keep it around is for the people that want to play it to continue to pay $15 a month to play it. It takes a lot of time and effort and a lot of intelligence to be able to switch a game from pay to play to free to play. Yeah, and so for nostalgia-based game MMOs, like they kind of have to be pay to play. That's like Pirates of the Burning Sea is like they've got a free to play model and they're starting a server that's like pay to play, but it's like a legacy server or something. And I'm like, Well, hopefully it works out for you guys. All right, we completed it, folks. So the key here was I didn't really build around any specific person. We switched Dadius down to 12 int buffing, and that helped out a lot. But we got a lot of different people doing damage here. Ultimately, the Dark Urge, I think, had Bud, but everybody was helping when it came to the boss. So interesting variant.